We have back with us Misty Marris, one of our legal analysts. Misty, what did you make of this sentencing? As we heard from Ryan and Rafael, not really a surprise, but at least some measure of relief for Laken Riley's family.
Yes, well, it's important to keep in mind what factors go into sentencing. And some is what we spoke about before, those victim impact statements, not just on family and friends, but also on the community. So all of that, all of those statements that were set forth in the court showing Laken, she was a young woman with a promising future whose life was cut short, and here's how it's impacting all of these individuals that surrounded her. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it is the legal statutory requirements. And it's in the judicial discretion to give life without the possibility of parole when somebody is convicted of felony murder, of malice murder, when there are aggravating factors. And we heard the prosecutor go through those. And those aggravating factors relate directly to the other charges that he is now convicted of: kidnapping, the attempted rape. All of those factor into that determination. And the pillars of the justice system: deterrence, rehabilitation, and punishment. All of that taken into consideration, resulting in the life without the possibility of parole sentence that was handed down today.
Misty, talk a little bit about, you're familiar with this, but would not be. As the judge went through the charges, there are a number of them that are going to be served consecutively. Just explain what that means. For instance, count 5, which is aggravated, or pardon me, kidnapping with bodily injury, for instance, that's life in prison that is going to be served consecutively to count 1. Aggravated assault with intent to rape, 20 years consecutive to count 5, for instance.
Yes, so it sounds a little confusing when he's going through all of the counts and then setting forth the sentences. So there were a couple things happened. One thing that happened was what's called merger. So it's called the merger doctrine. He was convicted of malice murder and felony murder. Those ultimately result in the same sentence. So they merge into one. That's why we heard him say that he's sentencing Ibarra on life imprisonment without the possibility of parole on malice murder. So all of those felony murder counts merge into that, as does what's called a lesser included offense of aggravated assault. All of those merge into that malice murder conviction, life without the possibility of parole. And then, Brianna, we have the other charges where he was given years certain. 1, life with the possibility of parole, 20 years for others. All of those are consecutive, meaning, or all of those are, concurrent, meaning they happen at the same time. So all of those sentences will be served at the same time as the life without possibility of parole. What he carved out was the misdemeanor charges. Those will be consecutive, meaning after he serves the felony time, he could serve time on the misdemeanor charges.
So I'd said a moment ago there was little to no likelihood he would ever step outside of prison. That's still the case, given kind of what you outlined, right, Misty?
Correct. At the end of the day, it's all about the malice murder sentence, life without the possibility of parole. All of those other sentences are being served at the same time, concurrently. And then the misdemeanor charges were consecutive. Now, the reason that that's done, the reason it's broken down, say hypothetically on appeal he's successful overturning one of those verdicts. And it's unlikely in this case, but it's certainly possible. So it's enumerated to each individual charge in the indictment. And that's where we are today, but it's life without the possibility of parole at the end of the day, that most serious charge.
Misty, thank you so much for that. Laken Riley's killer sentenced to life without parole.